Hi there, this is Michelle Moore,
And this is Lester Moore.
and thanks for joining us today. We wanted to share with you a really important topic actually about barriers to healing, and this is something that maybe a lot of information isn't given out there about this particular topic, and you have perhaps been going through a long time dealing with infections, whether it's MRSA or C. diff or staph or something else, chronic long-term infections, and maybe you've been going through all the right steps. You've looked at your diets, you're taking remedies, all those different steps that we talk about in our books and our websites, and you're still just not making that progress. And there's times that actually our emotions can come into play. There can be emotional barriers, and this is something a lot of times people don't really look at, but they are really important.
Yeah, it's been demonstrated that how you feel affects your body in very profound ways. Your immune system can be greatly affected in a negative way if you're holding on to negative emotions, negative ways of thinking about yourself. Unforgiveness is a real common one. And it's not just unforgiveness of others, it's unforgiveness of ourselves. Being really critical of ourselves, holding ourselves to maybe too high of a standard. And this might sound a little woo-woo and far out, but it's scientifically valid. Even mainstream medicine acknowledges the strong connection between your mind, your state of being, and how you hold yourself in your mind and how your body's doing. There's even been case studies of supposedly incurable diseases like stage 4 cancers, where people have gone and they've looked at each individual that has come out of that situation.
Gone into remission, right?
Gone into full remission. And they all have certain things in common. And 90% of what they have in common, it's not the body, it's not a remedy they're taking.
Wasn't the treatments they were going through.
No, it's their mind, what they're holding in mind, how they feel about themselves, what they're holding in mind for others. And unforgiveness is one of the bigger things that a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah, it was even, you may say, under a more spiritual blanket, this area of emotions, and tying into even the spirit, the realm of the spiritual. If you've gone through life and you've had traumas like many of us have, I certainly have, I think most people have on some level, if we hold those in our body and we don't let go of them, they have a destructive effect inside of us. And it might take some journaling or quiet time, time with spirit if you follow faith, and to just dig in there and kind of figure out, do some uprooting, some weeding in your garden, and figure out if there's any weeds in there that are, well, that shouldn't be there, and discovering those and pulling them out. The body just can hang on to those things, and that can hold you back from your healing. And so it's a really important topic.
And what are some examples? Grief is also pretty common. Depression is also very common. If you've struggled with any level of depression, you know the effect that has on your immune system and the rest of the body. It's very powerful. And we mentioned unforgiveness. That's pretty common, especially towards ourselves, and we often don't think of unforgiveness toward ourselves, but it's pretty powerful when you start just giving yourself a little bit of breathing room, not expecting too much of yourself, holding yourself to too high of a standard, beating up on yourself figuratively. All those things is basically unforgiveness, that you're not meeting a certain standard. And when we release those, it frees up our body to start healing, because the body's not expending energy trying to compartmentalize and hold on to those negative emotions.
There's quite a few things you can do to help address these emotional or spiritual areas, to take those weeds out and just make sure your garden is actually growing what you want it to grow.
The most powerful thing you can do is just self-examination, being honest with yourself. This can be really uncomfortable at first. A lot of us, we go through our day and we're just trying to survive and get things done, take care of things as they come up. We usually don't have a lot of downtime to really think. And when we do have downtime, we're usually preoccupied with something else. Music, a movie, something that keeps our minds off ourselves. So self-examination and just being honest with ourselves, that's always the first key. It doesn't matter if you're going to go to therapy, if you're going to talk with
a friend,
mm-hmm. a close friend. I mean, we always talk with our friends about things, and we're going to get the most out of any of those conversations if we're honest with ourselves and be willing to just lay things bare and be a little vulnerable.
Right.
Some other things are talking to a religious leader. If you go to a church of some kind, you probably have some type of a pastor or some kind of a leader for that congregation.
Or there's even actually having your own prayer time and just, during your prayers, just ask for help eliminating what could be holding you back.
So the bottom line is there's a lot of things that you can do. This is an important area for some people. In fact, for many people, this is the key to start unlocking their healing. They've tried everything, they're doing so many things right, but something's not clicking. Well, when that happens, this is an obvious area to look at, is emotional barriers to healing. It's something that we all can do with a little bit of self-honesty and a little bit of vulnerability and a willingness to maybe be a little uncomfortable, to look inside ourselves and see what's going on. And we can get help with this, help from friends, from figures that we look up to and that we trust. There's help available for this, and even professionals. There's always a time and a place for that, and that can be very instructive.
Well, we appreciate you watching us today, and I hope this was inspirational, and we wish you the very best on your journey to health.